What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here to finally react to that 22-minute audio that we got from Britney Spears. Listen, as soon as it dropped, I had to leave out of town the next day, and I was going to attempt to film my reaction from my hotel room, but I got wrapped up in so much stuff, and I just wanted to live in the moment, so I figured it could wait. And honestly, I'm glad I waited because I feel like if I would have reacted to it as soon as it came out, I would have been way more sympathetic in my reaction. And I don't feel the same way today as I felt as soon as the audio released. Now, I mentioned this before, but let me mention this again. My subscriber base is over 80% females. So I think a lot of times people come here for my reactions or my takes on things, and they don't realize this is coming from a male perspective. You know, as a man, I am less sympathetic than an average woman. And there's nothing wrong with being sympathetic. Women are more sympathetic in nature. But, you know, I'm not as sympathetic as a lot of people when it comes to anything that I talk about. Also, with my content, I try to counterbalance, you know, the stuff that's already out there. So, for example, we have the Yas Queens who yes queen anything that Britney does, and they act like it's the best thing to ever happen to Earth. I try to be the exact opposite of that. But anyway, as far as this audio goes, you know, when I first heard it, I was feeling like, man, maybe we're being too hard on her. I feel kind of bad now. But then I really got to thinking, and I was just like, you know what? Britney does this literally all the time. This is something I have witnessed Britney do multiple times since I started covering the story. You get weeks on end of odd, weird behavior, and then you get a couple of posts about her conservatorship, and it brings people back into feeling bad for her, and everyone forgets that, oh, she was just twirling in circles, naked, with dog shit all over the floor. And I don't want to forget all of the issues that we pointed out over the past couple of months just because we get this audio. And the audio itself, I don't believe that it was all recorded at once. That doesn't sound like someone just sat down and spilt their heart out. That sounded like clips of recordings that were pieced together, that was maybe recorded on different days. I don't know, the tone of her voice, it shifts a lot. It doesn't sound like, you know, just a fluent conversation. Also, I get the sense that maybe she was being interviewed. Maybe someone's asking her questions for her book, and that's why we got all of these little snippets. But some of the audio, it seems like when she's talking about stuff, she just puts her face in a blanket or something. It's like all over the place and choppy and weird and inconsistent. And none of it really proves that it was recorded recently until the end when she acknowledges her new song. So I don't know when this was recorded. One thing I will say about this audio, it's more evidence that, hey, this is the real Britney. That, oh, Britney isn't being controlled at least as much as some people think, as much as we maybe thought on this channel right here as we look through situations that have happened with Britney over the past couple of months. But like I've been telling you all over the past few videos, I'm really getting the sense now that this is just Britney. It's not someone with some diabolical plan to make her look crazy. Britney is just making herself look crazy. Now, in this audio, there wasn't nothing there to make herself look crazy, but what I was really looking for was some sort of accountability. Don't get me wrong, I am not here to say that everything that happened to Britney is Britney's fault. And I believe that most of what happened to Britney is absolutely horrible. But there was never a single ounce of accountability in this video. She acted as if, oh, I don't know why, or why this happened. As if she didn't have a public meltdown. We all watched the public meltdown happen back when it happened. But you know, the narrative that the Free Britney movement is trying to run with now, or at least a portion of them, they're trying to act like the meltdown never happened. These people are running with the narrative that Britney was framed to look crazy. That Britney was never crazy. There was never nothing wrong with Britney. That she just got framed by the people around her that all worked together to make her look more crazy so they could take control over her. I do not believe that one bit. Now, were they plotting and scheming and planning to do, you know, evil shit? Yeah. I agree with that. But as far as, oh, Britney was never having this meltdown, it was just all make believe. They just wanted you to believe it and they did things to make it look like, no, 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 no. Britney had a public meltdown. And she doesn't acknowledge that. She does not take any accountability for anything. I do find it interesting that right at the beginning of the audio, we hear her talk about how she talked to her therapist or her doctor in a British accent. Yeah, people are going to look at you crazy when you go to a doctor and they're already questioning your mental health, and you're talking to them in a British accent, because you're allowing your alter ego or other personality to take over. Every time I point out that Britney has alternate personalities, people get pissed because I think there's like some new term that you're supposed to use. I don't follow up with new terms. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I just know that Britney has other people kind of living inside of her, like this British woman that she allows to come out. And I also wonder if she has like a little living inside of her. I'm sorry, I'm getting used to like new terms. But like a little is like someone, it's like a kid version of yourself, more so or less. It gets weird. I don't even want to dive into all of that. But I was just looking for some form of accountability. Just acknowledge that you maybe did something wrong, or this was wrong, or maybe you could have did that better. No, it was just no accountability at all. Pointing the fingers, just dragging your whole family once again. And it's like we've heard this all before. For people who are new to this story and new to this situation, when they hear this 22-minute audio, it's going to be devastating and heartbreaking. But for me and for the majority of people who have been paying attention, there was no new information here. This was all just one giant reiteration of things that we already know and that we've already heard. And I was hoping that we would get some acknowledgement of how she's been acting recently. Listen, the conservatorship happened. The conservatorship was bad. I do not want to spend the next 10 years talking about the conservatorship. Maybe Britney does, and that's her prerogative. And if that's what she wants to do, that's okay. I'm not going to spend any more of my life going over a conservatorship that we already know about. What about how Britney's been acting lately? That's what I want to hear. And that's what other people want to hear. Other people are desperate to know if Britney's okay, where she's at mentally, and they want to know what's going on with her currently. Yet she just keeps coming out, oh, well, the conservatorship was really bad, and this happened in the conservatorship. And then people melt and they cling on to her every word, and they forget that she's been acting downright psychotic for 6 months now. So I was hoping that we would get more acknowledgement of how she's been acting recently. What's going on in your life now? Forget what happened in your life 15 years ago. It's over. We can't do anything about it. We can't do anything to change it. Luckily, you're out of the conservatorship, supposedly. So tell us about you now. But instead, it comes across almost as an excuse, because Britney knows just as well as everyone knows that people have been really questioning her actions lately. We have the big interview coming out on Sunday with her ex-husband, her baby's father, and her kids. We want to know what's going on with all of that. We want to know why your kids don't feel comfortable around you or at your house. We want to know why you post nudes 15 times in a day and delete them and repost them and delete them and repost them. That's what I'm interested in, personally. I'm sorry, but I'm no longer interested in anything to do with the conservatorship, because supposedly it's over, right? I do find it weird that the portion of the Britney fan base that just wants you to 100% believe the conservatorship is over. Don't question anything. Everyone be quiet. It's over. We did it. Yet they want to dwell on talking about stuff that happened 10 and 15 years ago still. I'm over it. I've been over it. I talk about it all the time that I don't really like people who... I'm not saying that Britney plays the victim. This is a general statement. I don't like people who play the victim card all the time. I don't like people who are just victims in nature, who, like, you maybe had something bad happen to you and you just shape your whole personality around that. Listen, all of our lives have been rough. I've been through a hell of a lot. No matter what I've gone through in my life, I never want to get here on YouTube and just burden you all with all of my issues. You all have plenty of issues. I don't believe that you all should have to deal with the burden of Britney's issues 24/7 just to be a fan of her. So, I mean, at some point, I know it hasn't been long and Britney needs her time, and I think it's good. Just to make it clear, I think it's good that Britney's talking. Britney needs to spill it. Britney needs to talk and get this shit off her chest so we don't have to hear about it anymore. But what I'm saying, it's never good to just become the victim. And everything about you, you're just the victim. You're that one girl who had that one bad thing happen to him, or to them, or you, or whatever. Or you're that one guy that had that bad thing happen to you. Yes, everyone, yeah, I'm that guy that had that bad thing happen to me. Everyone praise me. Talk to me about it. No, like, let it go. Let it go. The new song is out. Let's talk about Hold Me Closer. Let's talk about, your time supposedly recording this song with Elton John. No, we don't want to talk about that. We're going to talk about something, a champagne you couldn't drink 11 years ago. Sorry, there was a glass of champagne by the pool that you wanted to drink that you couldn't drink 11 years ago. Let it go. It's time to let it go and stop using that as an excuse to twirl around naked while your kids are desperately trying to get you to stop. Now, also in this audio, she talks about not wanting to be judged, that she doesn't want to talk much, or she's been reluctant to talk and to say things because she's scared of being judged. I find that hard to believe. Listen, a lot of people are scared of judgment. It's a perfectly natural human reaction. When you get in front of a camera and you become more of a public figure, you kind of have to let that fear go because everyone's going to have something to say. But for Britney, for her to say, and for her to talk about how she's so scared of being judged, that doesn't add up or align with her actions. Have you ever seen someone that's just, I'm so scared of being judged. Here's my tits and ass on Instagram, everyone. I'm so scared of the judgment and what people might think, and here's my tits, everyone. Here's my tits. People can be so judgmental and harsh, and I'm really scared to share too much. Here's my butthole wide open on Instagram. Think about it. Really think about it. Her words, they sound good, but they aren't aligning with her actions. So you're confident to show your naked butt all over the place, but you're not confident to just talk. You weren't confident enough to tell us or to really do this 22-minute audio of things we already knew. But once again, I feel like she uses what happened to her as leverage. And I feel like she's going to continue to use it as leverage. Every couple of months, once people get tired of her nonsense on social media, she'll come out with a new recording or a new social media post talking about how badly she was treated. And like I said, when I first heard it, I felt so bad. And I was like, man, maybe we're being too hard on Britney. But that's the reaction I believe she wants. I fully believe that's the reaction she wants. And it's like, we get that something bad happened to you, and I feel terrible. I don't think anyone should have to go through what Britney went through. But at the same time, going through something doesn't give you a free pass to just spiral out of control in front of the whole world and just think that no one's going to say anything. I mean, Britney could spiral out of control all she wants, but I'm going to say something about it. And I would hope that other people say something about it before it's too late. But it doesn't look like anyone really wants to speak up. Not many people anyway. There are a few. But listening to this whole audio, it was a struggle to get through. Because even Britney's voice, it's so forced. I feel like the way she talks, like she's still trying to talk like a teen from the 2000s, like 2001. I just don't want to go into it, but it's like, just be yourself, man. Freak. For the love of God. You don't have to talk like you're in 2001 anymore either, Britney. But yeah, the audio is just all over the place. It's inconsistent. Her voice, it just doesn't sound like it was all recorded in one day, if you ask me. So all in all, what were your main takeaways from this audio? For me, my main takeaways were mainly just that, okay, this is more evidence that would point towards the fact that Britney has been in control of her social media and that this is Britney doing what Britney wants to do. Another main takeaway is just that Britney isn't really focused on her future. Britney isn't really focused on the present. Britney's just still stuck in the past, dealing with all of those issues that she went through, and I cannot blame her for that. But I do hope that she starts moving forward. You know, like, I was hoping that the release of this new song, Hold Me Closer, would be the start of something new for Britney, like opening up a new chapter in Britney's life. But instead, it's been the same old nonsense. You know, 5 or 6 hours after Hold Me Closer released, we have Britney posting these weird nudes and deleting them and reposting them 1,000 times on Twitter. We have, once again, now Britney released this audio trashing her family. And it doesn't seem like there's been any real progress. And that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more of Britney in the now, or Britney's moves going forward, as opposed to listening to Britney complain about things that we've known about for years already. You know, we've talked about that for years. You know, and other people have talked about it for years. So I know for some people going into this audio, this will be new information for them. And therefore, it will be way more impactful for them as opposed to people who have already heard all of this before. And, you know, if you've read Britney's rants, then you already know, you know, basically what she has to say. I just feel like it's time for her to say something else. Like, open up about what you went through, fine, that's cool, but don't make this you. I feel like Britney could be so much more than just the girl who was once under a conservatorship that talks about how she was under a conservatorship for the rest of her life while doing weird stuff on Instagram. You know, so I'm not a fan of using this as an excuse to just do whatever you want to do, and basically you're trying to get people, hey, back off, you know? Listen, I didn't get to drink champagne when I wanted to. I didn't get to do this when I wanted to. I didn't get to do that when I wanted to. And that, and this, and that, and this. It's like, we get it. We get it. But I do feel bad for her. I don't want you all to think that I'm listening to her and I'm just like, oh, whatever. Oh, yeah. You know, I get it. I get it. But it's like, I got that years ago already. Like, I've been, like, I already grasped everything you said, Britney. And I took it into account. And I've already felt bad for you over this. You know, like, I felt bad for you about this situation for years. And now I'm like, hey, I'm done feeling bad for you, Britney. And I think that would be best for Britney if everyone's done feeling bad for Britney. And instead of feeling bad for her, you focus that energy into wanting better for Britney. Because right now, it looks like Britney needs to want better for herself. And I feel like there are certain things coming into play that are there to boost Britney up to where she could better herself instead of falling into an endless pit of depression and bitterness and nudes and twirling and nonsense. But hey, whatever. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all on the next video.